Going to do a YouTube live, but this will suffice for now. I'll probably do another one another time. This is a little overdue. Almost a month, well, a couple of weeks, but this is Superman movie review starring David Corenswet, directed, written by James Gunn. Here we are. This is it, the review. I did a shorter analysis on my Instagram at Jedi Demo. I actually enjoyed this film. I actually did. I actually enjoyed this film. I think because it's interesting. I think I was really impressed, and it's doing really well at the box office. I think by the time it hits 1 month since it came out, August 11th from July 11th, I think it'll probably make 600 million. Do I think it's better than Man of Steel? I'm on the fence. I think it's probably just below Man of Steel or equal to. I think Man of Steel's a little bit better. I think it varies. I think for me, if you're a person who's never heard of Superman, you're vaguely aware of it. You knew who Christopher Reeve was, the late forever great Christopher Reeve, and you're going to this fresh. I think you're gonna feel a couple of things. Or if you're a person who's vaguely aware of Superman and you're not aware of the previous films of this universe, you're gonna be amazed. So it's like the intro that you did, like 300 years ago, this happened. 30 years ago, this happened. 3 months ago, this happened. 3 hours ago, all the threes in the intro. I love something like the Star Wars crawl, which I really liked. The opening credits is really good too. The imagery is an homage to the Donner film. Rest in peace, Richard Donner, who passed away almost 5 years ago, which is wild. And I love the end credits too, which is the design of the end credits is so beautiful. So going back to that, you'll be amazed. So I mean, it is a lot. There's a lot going on. So you might be amazed by who Superman is, who Lois is, his friends, the Daily Planet, the characters, the villains. It's so much color and beauty. I think for some people that's going to be amazing to watch. Amazing. For some people, it's going to be a lot. If you're a person who's a casual, aware of Superman, it's a bit stuffed. I think that's fine because I think I like to learn what everything's going on. But it is a lot going on. It's a lot of things people stuffed in this film. But I think everyone has a moment to shine. I think there's one character, Wendell Pierce, played Paramore, who's wonderful, but he's not in it as much. And I wish I saw more of a Daily Planet, but it's really good. We'll do it though. But it does get you engaged and get you fired up. Or you're gonna be a person that's like, yeah, this film is just all over the place, and because James Gunn's known for doing comedy, edgy comedy, so there's so much color and life he brought to the Guardians of the Galaxy films for Marvel, and so that might be a little jarring. I don't know if James Gunn's style fits with Superman. That's three different versions you're gonna feel. Now, if you're a hardcore fan who loves Superman like I do, who watched all the original Superman. For me, I saw the Christopher Reeve films. I saw the bit of the Dean Cain stuff. I saw Superman Returns, Love Man of Steel, Superman Lois Smallville. I followed the previous DCU franchise from 2013 to 2023. You're going to either think, okay, I'm really impressed with what they did. I loved it. I'm along for the ride. You're going to think it's okay. There's some issues because you're trying to compare it to Christopher Reeve, the original Superman, or Man of Steel. Or it's like, yeah, trash. Personally, I'm in the camp of hardcore fan. I really enjoyed it. I really did. It's really, really good. They did a really good job. And yeah, so basically a little background. So originally, Henry Cavill. And it's like, watching the Batman, Robert Pattinson. I like Robert Pattinson did, but I got a little depressed because it wasn't Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill were previous incarnations of Batman and Superman, respectively. That DC Extended Universe went from 2013 to 2023. Long story short, bad decisions by the executives and the franchise. I enjoyed a lot of the movies though, but it wasn't really going anywhere. I like the movies for the most part, but then it got to a point where it's like we gotta reset the whole thing. James Gunn, known for doing Guardians of the Galaxy, he worked for Marvel. He was fired, and then he came back. But to work for Marvel, then during that time, Warner Bros. Hired him to do The Suicide Squad, which is another film about anti-heroes saving the world. That did really, really well. People liked him for that. Warner Bros. Liked him. Then he wrote Peacemaker during the pandemic, a TV show which did really, really well. And then he was hired as CEO. And I think James Gunn had to make a choice whether you could try and you can Wikipedia DCE, you can try and create films that end the DCU Henry Cavill era the right way. That's time and investment. It's a business decision, or reset everything. I understand why he did what he did. It's unfortunate. I know outside of Henry Cavill came back one last time to don the suit in Black Adam. There was a lot of potential, and it's a shame that Warner Bros. Didn't capitalize on it. It's a darn shame. I think there is more for Henry Cavill to tell, but hopefully down the line there will be. And yeah, I think a lot of people are upset about James Gunn, but I don't think James Gunn's the issue here. I really think that ultimately people are upset because there wasn't a chance to really give more Henry Cavill Superman, more Ben Affleck Batman. I think that's what issue people have. And I'm not want to get bitter. Other people are sort of on the fence. Maybe I'm not going to get in that. I think James Gunn, to tell the director, he did a fantastic job. And I know it just gets kind of exhausting hearing from people who are just, oh, I hate James Gunn, I can't stand it. It just gets tiring and exhausting. And I love Superman, I love the character stands for, and I'm just going to focus on what I like, because especially the discourse is just overwhelming, and it's just too much. Like, just I can't deal with that anymore. But, it's interesting to hear different points of opinion. The views have been fascinating, though, but there's definitely a risk, because how this film failed, DC has a rich history, and for it to go down the wayside is unfortunate. But I'm glad that this film's $500 million. Will definitely make 600 million, keep on soaring, and I'm glad it's going to do that. So for me, let's go down the list. David Corenswet, he did an excellent job. I thought he did it when he was announced as Superman. I didn't know who he was. He did a horror film by T.I. West, X film, Pearl Films, and then I thought it was really cool. Then on Instagram, there's a video of him on Instagram. I think he might have taken it down, of him in a car lip syncing the ending monologue for Star Wars: A New Hope. With Han Solo says, "Blow this thing and go home, kid." Han Solo. So I thought, oh, he's a geek. He's so cool. And there's another video of him on set playing air saxophone like Lisa Simpson. So cool. And when he was doing press for the movie, he talked about in depth about James Bond, Casino Royale, Daniel Craig. He broke that scene down, the opening scene, so beautiful. Like, oh my goodness, I want to be best friends with this guy. And he also did a wonderful video showing love to the Star Wars prequels. Like, he wants to be a Jedi. So it's like, oh my goodness, this guy's amazing. And his interviews, he's just full of just kindness and sincerity. I'm like, oh, I can't dislike this guy. This guy's amazing. So yeah, he's awesome. All right, let's quickly break this down. I probably should have done a live, because I hope my phone does not run out of space. So let's get through this. David Corenswet did a great job. I think, he embodies Superman's capabilities of hope, truth, just the American way, and just trying to fit in. This is a character that's, in this story, he's Superman. He's trying to save the world and try to, even though he'll never be human, he's trying to live on Earth. What does it mean to be a human? To live among Earth and its people. And we see, I like how vulnerable he is, because his humanity is what makes him human. But we really see some vulnerability to Superman, because we realize that Superman is vulnerable. Anyone who's as strong as him can take him down. And seeing him being vulnerable, there's a character that can choke him with nanotechnology, which is very hard to watch. And we see other people who can match his energy. But seeing how smart Lex Luthor is very fascinating as well. But I think Dan Corenswet did a great job in capturing that vulnerability, the humanity, the power, the gravitas. He was wonderful. Some moments where he helps a squirrel, moments where he has to fight a creature and he tries to help out, tries to see if he can sort of like, okay, is it very good to handle the situation? His ending speech at the end was so beautiful. What makes him human, what makes him more of a human being than Lex Luthor is very powerful. Yeah, the visual effects are just so great. I mean, I loved it. The Fortress of Solitude was wonderful too. I loved that. That was wonderful to watch. And the quiet moments are just really great. Just there's a scene he did with Lois, though, Well, the score really enhances it, though. I think with John Murphy, who did Guardians of the Galaxy, is so beautiful as well. So I really liked it, though, and yeah. This is one I love, though. So there's this guy who owns a falafel stand. I want to say it's Indian, Middle Eastern, and it was a beautiful moment where it's this small friendship he has with Superman, but there's a moment where an immigrant seeing kinship, a brotherhood with Superman. Superman is basically an alien immigrant. And for a human to see kinship, saying, I'm an immigrant from another country, you're from another world, and I see you as my friend. Oh, beautiful moment, beautiful moment. Just wonderful. All right, so we're going down to Rachel Brosnahan, the wonderful Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. Gorgeous, badass, and just fiercely intelligent and feisty. And it's really amazing to see her. First of all, the scene where she interviews Superman, which is reminiscent of the original film, so great and very timely, though. I mean, that discussion, they go for it, and that conversation and talking about invading different countries and sovereign rule, and very reminiscent of Ukraine, Russia, or Gaza, Palestine. Very on the nose, which I think is it's important and tough conversation to have. So, and she really takes charge as she flies a spaceship and helps get Clark to safety, though. Yeah, I mean, she did a great job, just like, the past iterations. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. This was Lex Luthor as, I've enjoyed Lex Hoult for so long. He's such a great actor from Jack the Giant Slayer, X-Men, The Order, Jury Number 2, an amazing actor, and Clash of the Titans. He plays CEO who's a nemesis, who Lex Luthor craves power. He wants to be the big man on campus, and he doesn't like it that this man's from another world. Luthor is very insecure, but he's very vicious and ruthless, and he does not care. He gets what he wants, and he's willing to step on anyone who doesn't. Where I think, Jesse Eisenberg did a great job in the previous one. He was sort of like a edgier, scarier Mark Zuckerberg from The Social Network. Well, this one's just like full on. As it says here, Wikipedia, obsessive, determined, and relentless. Totally agree. Like Michael Rosenbaum as well in the later seasons, though. But just such great work with Lex Luthor. I mean, and what's interesting, though, is that, he's charismatic, though. He's got Miss Tessmacher by his side. Or Miss Tessmacher. But also, there's like a mission control scene where all these people are just like, they're in it. They're loyal to him. This interesting loyalty, what money buys. And they're with the cause, It's like, oh, wow, just kind of cringe. Like, wow, you guys really are going for this guy, Eddie Gathegi, Mr. Terrific, fantastic performance. I'm glad he has a chance to take on another hero. He was excellent in Marvel First Class, but was unceremoniously killed off in that film. And it was unfortunate. I think there was a chance to do some great with Darwin and X-Men, but it was disappointing that ended short. And but it's great he was given that chance. Mr. Terrific, a superhero inventor with some amazing gadgets, badass costume, and he's the heart of the movie, who's very technical, very driven, very smart. That scene where he tries to save Clark with Lois, and is beautiful. And just black excellence all around, as Zack Snyder did with Ray Fisher. So wonderful. Cool one-liner, just a cool dude. It was great seeing Mr. Terrific, because we saw him in the Arrowverse as well, played by oh my gosh, the actor that plays him. He's so great. I'm blanking on the name. Actually, you know what? Let's look it up right now. Echo Kellum. Thank you. The original is Curtis Holt. Thanks, Wikipedia. Anthony Kerrigan, Metamorpho. Yeah. What a great character as well. He's basically a superhero who could transform into different elements. He's wonderful. Anthony Kerrigan is an amazing actor who's just full of heart and vulnerability. And he plays a guy who's imprisoned by Lex and against his will for an interesting reason, and we see him realize, there's a better way. And definitely a kind-hearted person, though, and he was really cool to see him, though. Really fascinating guy. Yeah, he's just great. Nathan Fillion, who's been James Gunn's friend for a while, I think his dream was to play Green Lantern. I think he voiced Green Lantern in other projects. Nathan Fillion, I mean, has been a fantastic actor for decades. Firefly, The Rookie, The Castle, and to finally see him play Green Lantern, Guy Garner is this brash, fearless, overconfident jerk, but has some moments of heroism now. And yeah, with a crazy haircut. But boy, he's got a heart of gold somewhere in there, but just kind of like, yeah, he's kind of arrogant. But you can feel like it just shines on screen. Isabella Merced, and it's just great, cool seeing Green Lantern's powers again. We haven't seen that in a while. So the wonderful, gorgeous Isabella Merced as Hawkgirl. Yeah, we've seen a different version of Hawkgirl. I like what Hawkman, Aldous Hodge did. I wish we saw more of him though, but this girl is a badass though, and we've seen so many, and that's great that we see a lot. We had a wonderful Latin actress from the Justice League Unlimited series, and having another Latina play Hawkgirl is awesome. And yeah, she's just a badass alien from another world, and in the Justice Gang, which I'm glad that title is temporary, because good grief, do not keep that title. Skylar Gisondo, Ninth Museum, Jimmy Olsen, he's a playboy. He's a whimsical. Women seem to like him a lot. We see why in the film, but he's a dedicated photographer, confident to Clark and Lois, just a kind-hearted soul. But I think his womanizing is a little bit, he needs to work on that, though. I think he definitely has to work with the ladies, though, but he needs to be careful wielding that power, you know. Wendell Pierce, fantastic actor. I wouldn't say he was wasted, though. We didn't see much of Perry White, but he's got some cool moments. He's a born leader, and chosen well. Great casting as well. And Michaela Hoover, Cat Grant, gorgeous, wonderful, part of the Daily Planet team. Christopher McDonald's well-run troupe. The people who played the parents, Jonathan Martha Kent, are beautiful, wonderful actors, though, and just the heart of what makes Clark human. Because there's a moment in the film where Clark's loyalty, Kal-El, Superman's loyalty is tested. His identity is tested. His purpose is tested. And we are reminded who the real heroes are. Jonathan Martha Kent. I think Pruitt Vance was a bad guy in Stranger Things as well. So yeah, that was interesting. Glad he's a good guy in this one. Let's see. There's so many great stuff here. Yeah, Sarah Sampaio, Tess Maga, she's great, you know. The whimsical, quirky girlfriend of Lex Luthor. And she ends up, yeah. She deserves better. I hope she finds a way. But Maria Gabriela Faria, the engineer, nanotech, badass. Yeah, she's terrifying, but kind of badass though in a way, which is great. Yeah, this is so many great people here. I mean, Frank Grillo, who I love from Marvel, coming to play Rick Flag Sr. And there's a moment, if you've seen Frank Grillo in Creature Commandos, his performance is very limited, though you can definitely tell he's not happy where things are going with the world of superheroes, though. Especially if you look at Suicide Squad and Creature Commandos, yeah, Flag is like, oh, no, we're in trouble. Yeah, we have some cameos. Someone from a future DC superhero is going to show up, which is kind of cool. Certain cousin. Someone from a TV show shows up, DC TV show, which is really cool. You Can't See Me. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I think James Gunn did a great job. He did an amazing job. And I think it's, I'm glad this universe is here to stay. I'll always love what Henry Cavill did in the film. And I miss him. I'm happy Henry Cavill is a father now and on the bigger, better things. Voltron, Warhammer, and Outlander, or Highlander. And, but yeah, it's an interesting thing where it's like, it's interesting what comes to superheroes though, because, you know, what Zack Snyder did was so great. People want the best for Zack Snyder, but the problem is, I think DC Universe has kind of been fractured with fandom because, you know, people are loyal to Zack Snyder. People are willing to easily hate something and not give it a chance. So it's tricky. And it's a tough thing. And I like what James Gunn did. I'm willing to give it a chance. And it's tough because it's tough when we're passionate about the previous version of DCU and it wasn't given a fair shot. And we want more of that, but that's life. Life finds a way. So I think it's really tough. It really is tough. But I think, down the line, I hope we'll see more Henry Cavill. There's a moment, though, where we see a character show up, a doppelganger, who kind of looked like Henry Cavill for about 2 seconds, but it wasn't. But I think, what it is, though, is that who would have thought, as a Spider-Man fan, who would have thought we would have seen 2 past generations of Spider-Man come back again in 2021, No Way Home? Who would have thought the Cobra Kai Karate Kid franchise would live this long, be extended? Who would have thought we would see Michael Keaton Batman again? Who would have thought we would see, the nostalgia factor is great. So you never know. I think down the line, hopefully we'll see Black Adam one day, or Henry Cavill for now. Let this universe grow, let it flourish, make that money, and then down the line, I think we'll see his characters again. But fandom is tricky nowadays, because now you just can't please everyone. You just really can't. But I think for me, what Superman means to me is hope, truth, just an American way, and that. And it's tough now, because especially in this world we're living in, this Trump 2.0, inspiration is needed more than ever. The values that Superman stands for, about friendship and loyalty and families taking up for each other, caring for each other. A lot of people's rights are being trampled on. Minorities are being affected. And I'm sure there are a lot of other countries outside the United States that don't feel that we've lost our way, but I think the American dream is still here. I think superheroes are meant to be woke. They're meant to be insightful, to show people that you matter, you're different, you are seen, you are beautiful, you matter, your life matter, lives matter. I think superheroes movies are meant to be entertaining, but also painting a picture of society, what can we become, what's wrong with it, what we can become. Squid Game is a good example. Horrifying, uncomfortable to watch, but a powerful look at what is our worst instincts of humanity and what we need to do to fix it. I think Superman highlights what we can become, how we can be a better society. And that's all there is. That's all I want. Okay, this is my review, and I hope you like it. I look forward to more. This movie was great. I'll always love Man of Steel. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got. All right, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm sure there's other things I wanted to say, but I think I covered everything. I mean, the performances was great. The only negative, though, I think, there's a moment where the only negative was it was a little bit overstuffed. I think a lot of people were worried about can the style of James Gunn translate Superman. I think it did a good job. The only negative is freeze breath. There are some moments where Clark, use your freeze breath, use your super hearing. You would have solved a lot of your problems easily. That was my negative. Para, and I think Daily Planet stuff was great, but we didn't get enough of them. But when you put a lot of characters, man, screen time is definitely a priority. So the Para, we'd like to see more Para White, but I think the fact that we got an excellent, Mr. Terrific, great representation of Black excellence is awesome. And what David Corenswet did, it nailed it. I'm not a bad performance. It fits. And there's so much this world that's to be discovered. So that's it. I mean, Crypto Superdog. I mean, come on. Crypto, what a maverick, wild, insane dog. The John Murphy score is great. Moments where Lois and Clark are talking, and in the dark, where there's a battle going on. I like that moment too. The twist about should there be a Superman, we find the plot is about Clark's Kal-El's parents. That was the moment I really liked. What else? There's some good moments. The fight scenes are great. The fight scenes are really awesome though. Lex Luthor's ferocity is hardcore, and Mr. Terrific stuff was really great. The jail scene, him getting out of prison was pretty cool in that pocket dimension. The cameo by Christopher Reeve's son, Will Reeve, was beautiful. Look for that. I'm going to end it there. I'm at 25 minutes, so that's all I got. I had a great time, and I'm very grateful for this film. I'm glad this film exists, and I hope we see more of the universe, because, as you know, let's tell great stories that inspire and insightful. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, let me know what you think. Up, up, and away. Excelsior.